Today I'm going to be doing a sterile wound dressing. I have one abdominal pad, 2 gauze pads, some sterile water, and then my sterile gloves over here. And so we're going to start by just using normal gloves and opening all these packages. The outside of them is not sterile, the inside of them is, however, so you can only touch the outside and the top. This abdominal pad is already open, but you'd open it by just touching this very top and then opening it up as much as you can. So when you are sterile, then you can easily access this and you don't have to contaminate your sterile gloves. So you get this open as much as possible and have that ready for you. And then you'll get the gauze pads, do the same thing. So I'm only going to be touching the very top of this package because the rest is all sterile. And then you want the package to be nice and open, like that, so you can see, or so you can easily access the gauze pad when you are sterile. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Okay, and now I'm going to come with my sterile water and add water. Okay, so now it's time for me to take these gloves off and put on my sterile gloves. So now I'll put on my sterile gloves, and this is, there we go. So they come in a package, but my package is already open, so it's just this. So you open this package up, and the outside is not sterile, but the inside is sterile. So you want to open it by grabbing these 2 flaps on the inside and pulling them out, because the outer edge is the only edge that is not sterile. So you want to make sure that you're only touching that outer edge. If not, you break the sterile field. And then I'll come in with this hand, only touching the outside of the glove. And now for this glove, it's critical that you scoop under, not touching the inside of the glove. You only want to be touching the outside of the glove now. And get this hand inside. So now you're in your sterile field, and you want to make sure you don't turn your back to the patient. So now I'm going to come over here, grab the dressing. Well, there might be original dressing that you have to take off, but you would do that with your non-sterile gloves. You want the wound to be undressed when you have your sterile gloves on. So now all that you will do is make sure you're only touching the inside of this gauze thing and grab one of the gauze pads And then be sure again that you're only touching on the inside of this package, and grab the other gauze pad. And then you will take this abdominal pad, again, only grabbing the inside, and place it onto the wound. And now that this is covered, this is no longer sterile. Well, actually, you would put tape to keep this abdominal pad in place. And then, once you're done with that, then it is no longer sterile. So now you can take off your sterile gloves. And clean up your equipment. And if this was a real patient before I did the sterile wound dressing, I would enter, wash my hands, provide privacy, introduce myself, make sure it was the correct patient. I would introduce what I'm doing today, say I'm doing a sterile wound dressing, and then I would make sure that it's a safe setting and nothing would further injure the patient or me. And then I would complete the sterile wound dressing, being that it was just a little skin graft. I didn't do those steps, but in a real scenario, I most definitely would.